Hey everybody, this is Ursus doing another deck profile, this time on my updated Shadow Paladin Luard deck. New stuff out of G-BT10 makes him actually pretty interesting, a lot stronger, and definitely more viable, especially with the ritual build. You're not as reliant on going the Diablo hybrid route. So, let's just get into it.
Waiting for you to arrive again.
For starters, running Drag Prince Root. I guess for the sake of this video, we're not going to go over any old skills, especially since I already have a profile up for the channel. As far as Root goes, I personally really like it. You can swap over to David. He is pretty versatile when it comes to sacking your units. The problem with these things are they are pretty slow. They are susceptible to the point and click retires you have running around, or point and click blocks if you people play Mobius Breath. But yeah, honestly, this gives you a soul. It gives 5k to a rear guard, which honestly I like hitting big numbers with my rears. This also it does a pretty interesting trick with Diablo. When you sack it, it makes him a 41. And so it definitely just makes it so your opponent can just G-guard it away. They actually have to work to stop him. So yeah, personal preference for a starter. So let's go on. First, the obvious 4 Dragheart Luard. Obviously, Luard deck you have to kind of play 4. Not really too much to say about him. He's pretty good. Well, more than pretty good. That ritual skill's amazing. Definitely good. Next thing for my second 3. Run 3 Deermoot. Now, I could be running Fadla. I haven't actually gotten the chance to test it out yet. She's obviously pretty good and really good with advantage. But so far I've found that the Deermoot is really nice for just being able to control your opponent's field. Just forcing them to make plays they might not want to, putting yourself in a more advantageous position. And yeah, the way the deck works, you probably won't be riding him too bad, so him being a 10k is not awful, but then again, if you're running Fodl, you're in an even worse spot. But yeah, so yep, 3 of him, just for that extra retire. Also sets up a lot of good plays for Diablo, well, Phantom Blaster Diablo, and a lot of good things for Orgeyser Doomed or Carnivore, just to get that little extra field wipe. Grade 2s, starting off 4 10k vanillas, 1 being Blaster Axe, 3 being Iron Gang. The large rise in like 10k vanillas for defensive ability is pretty relevant nowadays. I actually really like it. It helps you not get rushed, which is a pretty big issue when you're playing Luard. It's not too much to say about it. You aren't that reliant on your great 2s outside of Morfessa, so it's you can definitely have enough room to run from either 1 to up to 8 if you're really feeling like it, if you're really that scared of rush. Personally, I'm not. I feel like 4 to maybe 6 is a preference of mine. I actually wanted to run, 1 of each that Shadow Paladin has, but didn't really have them enough in time for this video, so just this is fine for now. Next grade 2, the obvious 4 Morfessa. Oh, Man, this card puts in a lot of work, both in drop zone and on the field, making your columns 21, counting as a 1 in drop. Just sets off a lot of your ritual skills, as well as putting pressure on your opponent with that on hit. Call a great one. I think the farther and farther this deck gets supported, the more I'm actually seeing Morfessa hit. Just people aren't caring as much anymore, and you can just take so much advantage from it. Yeah, it's a really, really strong grade 2. So yeah, definitely running 4. Next, I'm not saying this too often, but honestly I do like it. I am running 3 Drac Wizard Ursus. This one I will explain. So, act rearguard circle once per turn. Ritual 3, if I have a Vanguard with Luard in its card name, I can choose a great one for my drop zone and increase his power by the chosen unit's power and until end of turn. And then I put that card on the bottom of the deck. This is really helpful late game because you, outside of Luard's Ritual 3 ability to send normal units back, if you're kind of itching for a particular grade 1 that you want back in deck before you start up to your next turn, Ursus helps out with that, as well as making him a 16k by himself in the process, or a 15k in some cases. But it definitely gives him the pushing power. Second skill is Rearguard Circle GB1. Choose one of your other rearguards and retire it. When his attack hits, you draw a card. Huge pattern with this deck is just drawing cards. Just almost every single thing you do gets you some sort of advantage, and that's why the deck's so good. There's definitely a lot of plays with him that just set up into just, hey, I draw a billion cards. So yeah, I really like him. If I were to run more 10k vanillas, I would definitely not touch Morfessa, but take these out. Alright, for great ones. Once again, the obvious for Ursus. Another card that just puts in way too much work. It's recyclable. It's a recyclable perf. You can pick it back up from drop zone. It fills back up your deck when you're getting close to deck out. Yeah, it's just amazing. And because of Abyssal Owl, you definitely don't need the counter charge. So this is definitely the perf you want to use.
How do you actually run out of deck in that deck?
You play bad. It's pretty hard to deck out. Unless you get like completely like card stalled, it's not likely that you'll deck. Next, I'm playing 2 Branwyn, Stride Fighter for Shadow Paladin. You have the option whether to not run this or not. One, you're not running Claire, so first ability is useless. But an important part of Luard is, even if it's not that powerful of a turn, your first stride is the most important. That's what's setting off your advantage. Once you hit your first turn, that is probably going to determine your momentum for the rest of the game. And being able to guarantee that you're not ditching more than 1 card off it is really good, because the less you have to drop for striding, the more you can the more you get to save for later, so more advantage you get to keep. Yeah, that's pretty much why she's here. If there was no other reason for me to run them, I wouldn't, but I do. So I think between these and 3s, this is a fine number. Next, for Abyssal Owl, I could mess with the numbers, just cut this down to 3, but I honestly like just guaranteeing that safety of having it be there all the time. This is the reason I run Ursus. Well, part of the reason I run Ursus is because this is your main source of countercharging, and it countercharges a lot. Between all of your van skill sacking, you're always going to have it. And this is the other reason you can feel safe with running things like Fadla, RD or Muid, because of his first skill being able to search top 7 for Luard, just easy interchange into whatever 3 you need. Yeah. So, yeah, 4. Next, 2 Swordbreaker. At this point in the decks, like Support and Evolution, you don't really need to run Swordbreaker as much. It's nice to have around, especially since you're a bit reliant on your soul anyway. You'll mostly see this at 1 copy. I play it at 2. Once again, I'm a pretty scared person. I like to make sure I can see my cards if I need to. Even then, I also run 2 because if I'm honestly in that bad of a bind, I can definitely just start spamming these out. Forget the soul, forget my later effects to maybe push a little harder than I need to, and just be secure. A lot of this deck is just being safe, so you can eventually get to a point where you can either just overrun your opponent or just out advantage them. After that, knees. Honestly, I have a personal bias for knees. I really like it. It combos really well with Abyssal Owl. Well, not Abyssal, but Belial Owl. It's kind of your great one Ursus as well, even though it's more of a Leophil. But yeah, 1, it's a 9k attacker, so it can help make your 16k columns. 2, yeah, it attacks for extra draws. The counter charge isn't really that bad of a problem, so. Well, the counter blast isn't that much of a problem. And then
better not be. I get that kind of thing.
My last one, interesting tech. Ferdiad. So skill, Ritual 3. When he's retired due to the effect or cost of one of your cards, you can choose one of your units and give it 5k. Yeah, this is interesting. I like him because, like I said earlier, I like giving my rear guards a little extra pushing power. Or Vanguard, definitely. The main real reason I run this is because he makes Diablo 41. Yeah, I think I might have been talking about the wrong card earlier. So yeah, that's a thing that might have happened. Oh, no, it was not. I was talking about, Root, and yeah, once again, it's another one of those situations. He makes, Diablo 41, which means that your opponent just can't G-guard it away instantly. Unless they're running, they drop a pretty powerful G-guard on it. Yeah, he's really just honestly a fun thing to play around with. I like him. If you're interested, test him out. Yeah. For triggers, for Belial, if anyone says that this card is not just insane, they're lying to you.
It's not insane.
Best card in the deck.
Yep, definitely best card in the deck. Skill activates from the drop zone. GB1 Ritual 3. At the end of your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Luard in its card name, you may put this card on the bottom of your deck. So, Ritual 3, GB1. If it's in drop, if you have a Luard, send it to the bottom. So yeah, you're putting back your crits. Second skill is when this is retired due to the effect or cost of one of your cards. If you have a Vanguard with Luard in its name, draw a card. The difference between this and Abyssal's wording is the complete difference. This can only be go off if it's killed by a Luard, aka if for some reason there's a Luard with a rear guard effect, I guess. But if it's killed by Van, if it's killed by anything and you have a Luard, and you draw a card.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, this is the reason that the deck goes off so hard. You draw so much off of this card. Then you kill it off at the end of your turn. You put it back. Next turn, you call it out with one of your skills. You kill it again. You draw more cards. And because you're Paladin clan, you're calling all of your things, and you use none of your hand, and you're drawing so many cards that you're just putting your opponent in a pretty intimidating spot, I guess. Just having them sit across the table from you, watching you draw so many cards is pretty aggravating. I've been on both ends, and I definitely like being on this one, especially when you're drawing so many cards. You hit these on your drive checks, you guard with them, or you keep them in your hand, you sack them for next turn, and then you just put them back to restart it all again your next turn. Yeah, this card's just crazy. Crazy. Next. Just 2 random vanilla crits. I am running 6 crits. I guess that's kind of questionable, but you'll probably understand later. Yeah, I like these. I like these 2 particular arts. I kind of wanted the Death Feather Eagle just for the true combo of Death Feather Eagle and the Grim Reaper, but that's just me. Next. If I draw so many cards, why am I running draw triggers? Because why not draw more? 2, he provides an extra soul and a 3k to any unit, so I like more pushing power. Yeah, also, so he helps maintain soul, so good. Next 2, Ursus. It's like the Black Wing Swordbreaker thing for me. Most people run this at 1. I run it at 2 simply because I want to just secure being able to have it when I need to. Even after that, sometimes it ends up in spots where I can't really get to it. But, yeah. Still a really useful tech. I'd recommend it to anyone else. One who placed it up. Alright, and then obviously for heals. You need heals. G-Guard's important. Yeah. So, let's get on to the G-Zone. So, first off, one Aura Geyser, Doomed. I've been seeing a lot of, other variations that, rely heavily on this combo, running either, 4 Aura Geyser and 2 Dooms, or 3 Aura Geyser, 3 Doom, just to keep spamming this combo over and over again. Honestly, I think it's up to preference. I like this only really as a first stride. I guess if I did have the option just to keep doing it over and over again to get Doom's extra crit off, it'd be nice, but I don't really. I like the versatility in the G-Zone. Next, to Carnivore. This is really good for just a Trial Deck stride. I guess reminder, even though everyone should already know this by now, his effect is a do as much as you can. So if your opponent only has 1 rear guard to retire, they must retire it. Yeah, this is, like I said, it's more of a control-y thing. I either drop this to make sure they can't use their powerful starter, or if they have an annoying rear guard out, I'll drop this. I can combine it with Dear Muid just in case I want to just take a few things out before the game really gets going or it gets out of hand for me. So yeah, 2. Next, I actually like the Drag Driver Luard. I dropped this down to 3 because honestly I won't be using it as much. I usually maybe use it once a game, twice, if it's getting kind of lengthy. His effect allows you to run give you a little pushing power towards the end with the extra powers of the rear guards that you call. 2, he is my out to field wipe. It's really heavy. It's really unfortunate when you're just sitting there and you need to use Dragheart Luard's skill. So what I do is just stride into him, drop him into a field, and at that point I can just rearrange it however I need to. Yeah, another one of those just security cards for me. Next, the obvious Phantom Blaster Diablo. Yeah, no reason to ever not run this card in a Shadow G zone if you need it. You might want, if you don't like the drag drivers, you can turn them into these, into another set of these. Yeah, he's pretty self-explanatory. He wins games. Honestly, I think he's a little bit more viable now for just kind of an attrition play, just to make them sack the rear guards and guard out of their hand. But yeah, he's there mostly for a finisher. You catch someone off guard, just kill. Which is also why I run the combinations of cards that I do, because between Carnivore and Deer Mood, they wipe fields enough where if your opponent does not retaliate correctly, this is their punishment for that. Next, the Spectral Blaster Diablo. He's a restanding shred. He's a good push card. That's about it. He's just swing. He's good if you know your opponent's hand around, you know what's in your opponent's hand. They don't have a perf or a G guard, and they're at 5, and you can just take them out. Yeah, I don't use them too often anymore. 1, because of the soul cost. 2, because it is Counterblast 2. So resource wise, he's kind of heavy, but he's always nice to keep around. And lastly, Draganger Ogma. The new addition to the G Zone. Act once per turn. Ritual 5. You can Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and choose a face down card from the G Zone and turn it face up. You can choose up to 5 of your Great One rear guards and retire them. And for each rear guard retired by his effect, your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand or rear guard and puts it into their drop zone. If the total of 3 or more rear guards were put into the drop zone by both fighters with this effect, you draw a card. AKA you sack as many Great Ones as you can. They either have to discard a card from their hand or retire a rear guard in any combination that they want. If 3 or more were put into the drop zone by this effect, you get to draw a card. The draw is just a nice add-on to it. Really, this is something that you just do to just either nuke a field or nuke a hand. Put your opponent in a position where they have to decide either is it worth it to drop the cards because my field's important, or get rid of my field because I need to be able to guard this turn. This is why I play the deck the way I do, because 1, I have my rear guards pushing at high numbers, so they have to definitely drop the cards out of their hand to guard. And I put them in another position using, once again, Deer Mood, Phantom Blaster Diablo, Carnivore, and even Orgeyser Doomed. All of these cards eventually help combo into Ogma, essentially forcing my opponent by the time I use them to discard. Yeah, kind of a Nubatama-ish way of thinking, but it's really effective. That's what he's there for. He's honestly just kind of my Sukumoricon-ish option in Shadow Paladin. So, yeah, I really like it. And for G-Guards, the one Ludwig, this can be a Gleam, this can be a Screw, Dismal, anything. I like this because it helps you set off Ritual. I rarely use him, ever. It could even be a 4th Blot Maker if you want, but yeah, I kind of like it. And then 3 Plot Maker. Ritual 3 plus 10k shield is just free. Super free. Yeah, it stops most attacks. You 2 pass most Vanguard swings. Yeah, it's just really powerful. How this stacks up toward things in the meta. I think it does a pretty good job of doing that. Like I said, the deck gains so much advantage that it holds up well. It's really defensive, and you can definitely have the power to retaliate. His Luard's ritual skill being a return deck means you actually can just completely stall out your opponent. You definitely sit there with the other slow stall decks, and you just can out advantage them along with your pushing power. So it's really nice to have both ends with the deck, because it's Shadow Paladin. They're just so toolboxy. It's amazing. But yeah, I'm just gonna end the video there. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.